China's real estate bubble is absolutely collapsing. In 2008, when the subprime mortgage crisis nearly ended modern capitalism, housing was 8% of U.S. GDP, while housing is still 25% of China's. This is an epic meltdown, and it's just beginning. Meanwhile, in the United States, inflation is so high that the Federal Reserve is talking about raising interest rates further, choking credit out of the economy completely. Gold is perfect for this environment, but it's near all-time highs already. So I want to present a company called Gold Mining Inc., trading on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker GLDG. This is a company that is extremely cheap. At the end of this video, click on this link in the description box. There's an entire presentation explaining how this company is effectively 80% or 90% more discounted than anything out there. If you're bullish on gold, I urge you to stop everything you're doing and download this carefully drafted report now. Good evening. I'm still reporting on the coup. A trial in Colorado will start tomorrow, Monday, to decide whether that state can exclude President Trump from appearing on Colorado's ballot in November of 2024. Similar lawsuits are coming in two other battleground states, Minnesota and Michigan. All three states total up to 35 electoral votes. However, legal experts are doubtful whether, even if the lawsuits succeed in lower courts, they would likely be overturned on appeal. But the threat of them is so significant to our democratic process. Yes, I know we are a republic, but it's okay to call it a democratic process as a generalization, as opposed to an autocratic process, that these suits must be taken seriously. Esteemed law professor Jonathan Turley of George Washington University in Washington, D.C., went on Maria Bartiromo's show this morning and labeled such lawsuits to exclude candidates from voters as dangerous.
Well, you know, this is a rather novel theory that's come into vogue in the last year. What is astonishing is it's being defended by people who say that this is about protecting democracy, to protect democracy by denying the ability of voters to vote for one of these candidates. According to many polls, Donald Trump is now the leading candidate for the presidency. And so the effort now is to prevent voters from being able to cast their ballots. I mean, that is throwing matches at a tinderbox situation in this country. We are a deeply divided nation, and I can't tell you how dangerous this theory is.
It would also completely destroy the campaigning process, where voters gradually get to know the candidates and their plans if elected. For example, if this was a way to exclude candidates from certain states, think of the millions, no hundreds of millions of dollars that would go into these lawsuits in every state in every election with a significant number of electoral votes every year. You would never know who the final candidates would be until way deep into the election year, as these challenges would clog up the appeals court's ladders, each state demanding that their case had precedence to be decided first. It would be lawfare at its most destructive.
I also think that it is fundamentally flawed. You know, this was put into the Constitution after the Civil War, when hundreds of thousands of people died. It occurred when the Vice President of the Confederacy tried to retake the oath that he had previously violated. That was the impetus. That is what they were referring to. And what these courts are trying to decide is whether the riot in the Capitol was an insurrection. And right. Most of the public don't view it that way.
The bottom line, will they succeed in stopping Trump? And is there enough time for the Supreme Court to weigh in here before the election?
I think there is enough time, but the delay in getting a ruling is troubling. I am actually hopeful that we'll have a ruling, because I don't believe this can be sustained on appeal. I think it needs to go to the Supreme Court, and they can put this to bed. The problem is that many of these state judges are elected. Some are Democrats. It's very hard for them to say what the majority of the public says, that this was a protest that turned into a riot. Most of us denounced it for what it is.
However, that's exactly why the lawfare deep staters have pressed so hard from the start to label the Capitol riot, the violent part which was designed and led by FBI agent provocateurs and Antifa, as an insurrection, to fit in with this ancient Civil War-era law to have any chance of fitting in their anti-Trump narrative. I'll never forget those security camera videos of the Trumpers inside Statuary Hall, not storming through, breaking things up, but casually strolling through respectfully, even staying within the rope and stanchion boundaries like normal, respectful tourists. No, especially when it was the Capitol Police who removed the bicycle rack barricades outside, who waved the Trumpers in, trying to stimulate the very effect that the FBI agent provocateurs had failed to incite.
But what's so troubling is that these people are saying that we need to defend democracy, but by denying its exercise by tens of millions of people. And that's a very dangerous theory, and I don't think it can be sustained. The Constitution is clear. We're talking about insurrections or rebellion. This was neither. It was many things, none of which was good. But it was not, in my view, an insurrection or a rebellion.
These lawfare lawsuits are totally frivolous and should be denied at the very first level of appeals as total and contrived nonsense. I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good evening.